Hello, everybody. Great day, great day, great day, great day. We are moving right along. I know we are trying to get those of you that are joining us in our WhatsApp platform. I am going to connect a call while we're waiting for everyone to come in. I want to just say hello. Today is Accountability Circle. Remember, we come as we are here. There's no glam sessions here. We are here to be about the business, right? Let's make sure that media is on. That way, if anybody's having issues getting in, they can. South Africa, I'm not sure if you're on. Let's see. So, how's everybody doing? Let's just give a little bit of time. The live chat is up and running. Okay, I think we have all those set, and I will just allow everyone to come in as they see fit because I want us to be really diligent with time. This is supposed to be our 90 minutes of power. This is our time for us to come in and chat and discuss. We have a lot that we're going to start delving into, but we know that this time a lot of you have been asking for accountability. And I know that that's something that I really can benefit from, as well as many of you that I speak with directly about how do I maintain everything? How do I keep everything afloat? What about between the services? How do I stay connected? How do I continue to tap in? And so this is what the accountability circle is for. Guys, please forgive me because I am still navigating and learning all of this social media thing. And one of the things that I will say about accountability, what I'm noticing in this season, is when you decide to show up and you decide to be consistent and you decide to be diligent in your assignment, all the little things will get in the way. Even the people that are supposed to be helping, and they are helping, but if they're not tapped in, if they're not on that same sync of that season, that intentionality, connecting, it will throw you off. And sometimes you may come across as being like tunnel visioned or narrow focus, and they're not getting it. And I encourage you, don't get discouraged. Don't freak out. Don't become short tempered. Understand that you're being called to a different place, and what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to pray and ask the Lord, but also in action, begin to put action steps in place to navigate your environment and command your natural environment to line up with what you're supposed to be doing in the spirit realm. Okay. That is something that in this season I have noticed is imperative. It's absolutely imperative. Um, I want us, there's some questions that I had from last week. And we were talking about during Sunday, we do the posture of parables. And we talk about life lessons and sharing stories with each other when we're trying to get a point across. When you're trying to get someone else to understand where you're coming from without starting all the way from the beginning, because if I tell you about the three little bears, or the story about the three bears and the porridge and all of that, and I compare that to something that's going on, you, as at least an American or any culture that understands the three little bears, you're going to connect to that because you have some nuance. You understand who the good guys is, who the bad person is, who the antagonist of the story is, who the hero of the story is. Um, all of that comes into play, right? And so, one of the things that we are using is the posture of parables to help us to gain a connection when we are trying to get our points across, right? And so, in this story, we want to think about James and the Giant's Peach. I don't know if you're familiar with the story of James and the Giant Peach. I'm sorry, we have people trying to connect in. Are you James and the Giant Peach? It's a really elaborate story for those that are in maybe elementary or middle school, at least when I was younger. And the point of that story is that he finds this fruit, he buries it, he has the seed, and then all of a sudden it gets big. It gets so big that it starts to overtake even him, and then it overtakes the city. And sometimes ministry can feel like that. Our own ministry of just our life, it doesn't have to be church. Our own life, it can be like that. And so, what we want to talk about today in the accountability circle is how you are managing the peach that is the seed that has grown from the assignment, from the thing that you have planted in your life. How you're managing that. How you're managing that, right? Um, Give me one moment again. People have to learn to get on task, right? So, past today, when we're having our sessions, unfortunately, because this is a very dedicated time. So, if you're not here on time, you'll just have to hop in on the replay, or you'll have to just jump in on the live and join in on the live chat and catch up. Give me 1 second. And I tried to be mindful because our other campuses are different places, but this is what leadership is for, right? And so, just like with Moses, remember, we're talking about stories. You can't keep coming down off the mountain from in the presence of God and then go back up and then deal with the people and go back. You have to have those that are leadership, that are handling what it is that needs to be done for the people. You have to remain diligent to stay in focus. You have to remain diligent to stay in what he has your hands to. Because if you keep being pulled out, and it will be the same people that are asking for help. They're asking to be a part. They're asking for accountability. But when it's time, they won't show up. They won't show up. So stay the course. Stay the course. Okay. All right. So, what is it that is happening as evidence of your life, that your seed, the fruit, may seem to be bulldozing you. It may seem to be bulldozing you. It seems to be taking over everything in your life. You're struggling, you're trying to manage it, you're trying to stay afloat, and you're like, God, was this you? You're literally asking God, is this you? Trying to make a landmark or a land map, if you will, of how to navigate what happens when the seed that you've had planted in you, the fruit that is manifesting, it seems to overtake what it is that you're doing in your everyday life. You start to question whether it's really God or not. And now we're in the thick of it, of the day to day, the kids, the spouse, your job, 9 to 5, the after, the side hustle. We're supposed to be called the chosen. So, what's some tangible steps? What are some action items that's needed for us to be able to move forward and not get paused, not abort our assignment? I want to hear from you. That's what these accountability circles are meant to be for. That's what this time is supposed to be for. Because first, you have to recognize and understand that this is what's happening. Because if you're not careful, you will literally abort ship. I've been in that position where it's like, am I supposed to even be doing this? Am I just going through emotions? Maybe I'm not even healed enough to be doing this. This is what we call a threshold moment. A threshold moment. It's when the seed has broken ground and the fruit is visible, but your infrastructure hasn't caught up yet. For many of us, the infrastructure of our life hasn't caught up yet. So, what is that? What's the infrastructure? That's the place where many people get stuck, right? You start to second guess God, or you just start quietly aborting the assignment. What does abortion look like? Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I'm tired now and I don't want to not be focused. I used choice words with that person yesterday when they made me mad at Walmart. I'm not healed enough yet. This is when you start to second guess God, and without ever saying that you quit. Remember during COVID, the quiet quitting? Person starts like, you don't go the extra mile. I remember at one point I was so overwhelmed when I was working for Maryland Department of Health, and they would just take and take and take and take. And I didn't realize what it was called until like I was already gone from there. I transitioned to a new assignment, but I had gotten to a point where I literally, as a marker, it was self care, it was a stop, but it was also an indicator of quiet quitting. It was a boundary, but somewhere in here, I was disconnecting, right? So I would put on my calendar, Elisa out for the day. I would put it at 4 p.m. And I initially started doing that because I would conveniently have people ignore the fact that I started my day early. We had a choice of when we wanted to start and what time we got off. Well, I chose to come in early because you get more done during the day. And it just so happened it aligned better with my children's schedule. I'm already up. I got to drop children off. I'm up early for prayer. Why not get started in the workday? Well, the people that wanted to sleep in and come in later or whatever, that's your prerogative. But that doesn't mean that now you come and dump in my inbox because now you see I'm about to get off and you want to dump on me and I'm about to be gone. Then plan early the day before. But what does that have to do with Quiet quitting. Well, what started as a protective measure and a good thing, being early, being diligent, properly stewarding time. Now you have others that are not assisting me, or they're not recognizing the things that I'm doing to be present, to practice the presence. What does that look like in your spiritual walk and accountability? You're setting aside time to read your word. You're setting aside time to get up early and pray in the spirit. You're setting aside time to be diligent, that before you make decisions, you're asking the Lord, asking the Holy Spirit for guidance. And maybe a spouse or your children or an ex-spouse or a significant other, a family member, a parent, a leader, they're not sensitive to the things that you've done to align yourself with that. They're not. They're just going on business as usual, right? And then what started happening? I put that marker there as a signal to me. This is the boundary. This is where you have to stop. And then what happens? Now this little resistance comes in your heart. Don't they see that I'm blocking this time? Don't they see that I'm trying to be in the presence? Don't they see that I've been praying and preparing to help with this meeting that you need assistance from me with? But you're waiting to the last minute. You're not even engaged. You're asking me to give you information for things that I've already pre-given to you, but you discarded it. How many of us, even as parents, as moms, as dads, we feel like we're going over and beyond so that the kids will be okay, that they have the information that they need to be self-sufficient. But they ignore us. But then the minute that they get into trouble, now they're ringing your box. You're trying to rest, you're sleeping, but they want you to answer. And then the quiet quitting comes in. It's no longer just the marker to say on the calendar, everybody on the team can see it. Hi, I'm leaving at this time. Now you go a step further. They sent the message and your heart's hardened. I'm not even entertaining you because you saw that I'm leaving at 4. So now the heart posture changes from cultivating, watering the fruit to you've allowed it to become bigger because it's flourishing, it's growing. Because before, maybe they weren't even recognizing you at all. They weren't answering you at all. Maybe they're trying to catch up, right? But in the cultivation of the fruit, the things that's in the soil are being exposed. The things that's in the soil is being exposed. What do I mean, the soil? The soil of your heart. So you start to quietly quit. You back off. Maybe you don't even bother to go and check the mailbox anymore to see if somebody messaged you, because it was a time that before they messaged me, as long as they messaged me before that cutoff and I had at least 10 minutes, I would check that and answer it. And if it was something that I could get done, I would get done. And if it wasn't, I would respond and let them know I have it in the queue for the following day. But then at some point, I just stopped checking. If I didn't have it, the 10 minutes went out the window. If you didn't respond to me before that 10 minutes, I was now like shutting down. Like, I'm sitting here, but if you don't get to me before then, oh well. I'm just being honest. This is accountability circle, y'all. This is accountability circle. And you might say, what does this have to do with the fruit of the Spirit? Because what you do in one way, in one area, you're going to do in another. But you do in one area, you're going to do in another. It shows the heart posture. If you're growing fruit in your fruit patch, you may not know that there's a bug or some sort of vermin that's there until you get the fruit breaking through, because they start eating on it, because they're drawn to it, right? They're drawn to it. They're drawn to it. What else? What else happens? We want to talk about action steps. We're not talking about mystical stuff. We're not talking about people just, jumping on and saying, here's a three things to do to get you ready. No, we're talking about how do you walk it out? What does that look like daily? Right? First thing, name the season you're in. I remember one time God asked me, ask the right questions. He told me, rather, ask the right question. Stop asking the wrong questions. Many of us, okay, show of hands. God, is this you? How many of you have answered? Let's see in the chat. If you're not in the chat on the live and you're joining later, that's fine. Put it in the chat. If you're in WhatsApp group, great. The Call the Chosen group, great. If you're on Instagram, great. No problem. How many people have asked that this week alone? God, is this you? Better question. God, how do I steward what you've already confirmed? How is that different? We can spin our wheels and say, God, is this you? Okay, what if it is? What are you doing with it? If it isn't, now what? You're going to go back and forth about if that's him telling you, it's him or not? The enemy camouflages his voice too, right? He mimics God. We saw it in the garden with Eve. So what's the action item? Come on, y'all. This is accountability circle. Talk back to me. Well, the first thing you can do is write a sentence season statement, a one sentence season statement. What does that look like? Let's get media to put this in the chat. This is your one sentence season statement model. This is a season of blank, comma, not blank, period. Fill that in. Let's see your answers. This is the first tangible step. Name the season you're in. So write this out. Fill in the blanks. This is a season of blank. Fill in that blank, comma, not blank. Let's see your answers. I'm gonna join in. This is the season of for many of us, we need a season of discipline, not perfection. This is a season of discipline, not perfection. Who else out there? Who else has one? This is a season of self-introspection. Okay, Faye, not what? Season of self-introspection, but not what? What's your second step of your season statement? Because when you don't name the season, you misapply pressure. And then you assume confusion means disobedience. If you are cultivating a season of acceleration and you're really supposed to be in a season of discipline, You will confuse busyness or lack thereof as disobedience. Okay? So don't confuse your seasons. Come on, what's your season statement? This is a season of blank, not blank. All right, Melissa, come on. I see you. Get you some. This is a season of blank, not blank. This is your accountability one. I got at least 6 more or 5 more to give you. Right. You have to discern the voice and if it's good or bad. But I want your actions, your season statement, Melissa. So we need to know this is a season of what, not what. Okay, Faye, this is a season of self-introspection, not rumination. Good. Good. For those that don't know what rumination is, that means you just keep mulling it over in your mind. You just keep mulling it over, right? You're not actually getting anything done. Self introspection is review, it's systematic. You're not just mulling it over. If if I look at my face and I say, I have a black mark, but I just keep looking at my face, I have a black mark, I have a black mark, I have acne, I have a black mark. That becomes rumination. And then you go over how you got the black mark. Oh my God, I ate too many sweets. I drank too much pop, that Verner soda. Oh, I didn't exfoliate. Ugh, that's rumination. What are you doing about it? Just rolling it over and over and over and over in your mind is not doing anything about it. Self introspection is you are reviewing what you see that's happening. Then you analyze what's the cause. If you don't know if it's the cause or not, then you put action items in place to address it. So you may think you're drinking too much soda. You stop drinking the soda, but you're still noticing the dark spots. Well, either we have to give treatment to address what has been caused by the lack of nourishment, or is it you need to drink more water? Because the absence of taking away something not good for you does not counter not putting in what you're supposed to have that's good for you. Many of us think that because we stop doing other things that we know are contrary to God, that supersedes spending time with Him and reading His Word. That's the equivalent of stop drinking soda but not drinking water. Okay, Kenneth, I see you, Pastor. What's your season statement? Fill in the blank. This is a season of blank, not blank. These are good things, guys. Okay, while I'm waiting for that, number 2, separate calling from capacity to prevent burnout. Pastor Maxwell, okay? This is a season of sacrifice, not laziness. All right. Good. That's good. That's good. Awesome. Number 2, separate calling from capacity to prevent burnout. Just because I can counsel 50 people in a week does not mean I should. That's good, Melissa, not listening to the noise. What does that look like? Come on, this is accountability circle. This is accountability circle. What does not listening to the noise look like for you guys? So when you're in this step, separating the calling from capacity, the fruit is real, right? So many of us, we did the 40 days of intimacy. We did the prayer fast. We did the access granted. We're in our word. We're in our God chair, right? We see the fruit. But your current life capacity may not yet match the weight of the call. What does that look like? I know that I have a call for deliverance in my life. I know that I have a call for international territories on my life. I know that I have a specific territory right now that the Lord is downloading into me and preparing me for. Does that mean that I just up and jump and go tomorrow? No. Why? Because in the season of making sure that I'm hearing from the Lord, and what did I say earlier? This is the season of discipline, not perfection. I need to make sure that I'm disciplined to not go off when my kids are not doing what they're supposed to do and they're not caught up to the season of obedience, or to align with what I'm teaching them, but still stay in the posture that I need to be in to steward the capacity of that new territory. Or for instance, we have a new campus in Malawi, and there's plenty of people that we can help. But I had to sit with the leaders and say, we may have the heart to help 500 plus people, but we have to start with what we have the capacity to do consistently and do it well. If we can only do 50 to 100, we must do 50 to 100 and do it well. Steward those souls well. And ask the Lord to give us willing hands, resources, and accountability to do so. Right? This is where we are. This is where we are in this season of accountability. Action item for separating calling from capacity. Identify one lane you're allowed to stay in right now. This is accountability circle. I want to see you light up the chat. Identify one lane you're allowed to stay in right now. But then I want you to put a comma, forward slash, and identify one lane you're not allowed to expand in yet. How do you do that? How do we get to that answer? So what is God asking me to carry, not conquer in this season? That's an indicator of one lane you're allowed to stay in. And then what am I doing out of pressure instead of obedience? I know this is hard, but this is accountability circle, y'all. This is accountability circle. For those of you that are trying to join us, we are in room 1. We are in room 1 at the Queen Creek Library. If you want to come in and join us live, today is a live meetup. You can do so. Don't get quiet. Not listening to gossip, hearing people judge you, listening to the judgment and condemnation. Okay, Melissa, but identify the one lane you're allowed to stay in right now. And then identify one lane you are not allowed to expand to. So these sound like action items, maybe. But I want you, because when you walk away from this accountability circle, I want you to have your clear 6 items. The first one was your 1-sentence season statement. This one is your 2-pronged action item. Your lane you can stay in, the lane you must abandon, or you can't expand into. So let me give you an example. One lane I can stay in is let's say writing. I'm going to put deliverance, but not allowed to expand into one-on-ones. Okay. Because this is accountability, right? We are all on the same page. I can stay in, lane I can stay in is deliverance, but not allowed to expand into weekly one-on-ones. Why? Because that takes me out of my capacity of what he's called me to do. But I know that he gives me a grace to pour into people. So one of the ways that I do that, I set aside tangible time. I block out time outside of prayer, outside of fasting, outside of church, outside of sermon prep, and I put myself in a position to be touchable here. Guess what? The little girl in me that wants the pat on the back, that you did well, that I see you, that you earned well, that you received payment because this person saw value in you. None of that exists. I'm just being obedient in this space to carve the time to be tangible, to show up and pour out. That's that season of discipline, not perfection, right? Okay, y'all, I don't see it. Okay, Melissa, but you haven't given me your number 2 yet. I haven't seen your language. Lane I can stay in, lane I can't expand into. Okay, lane to stay in, speaking my mind, but the way I say it. Okay, can it stay out of the lane of anxiety? Okay, but can you put it in, lane I can stay in is, lane I must stay out of is anxiety. Don't expand in anxiety. So what lane are you staying in? What lane are you allowed to stay in? Pastor Maxwell, Faye, Eden, I don't see your season statements. I'm just, is that supposed to be, is that patience? It says patience. Stay in the lane of patience, not anxiety. Is that what that's supposed to be? Okay. Just one more moment. Okay, Pastor Maxwell, stay in the lane of not allowed to stay in the lane of disobedience to God instruction. Okay, and what lane are you staying in? That seems kind of broad though, too. Disobedience in what area? Sometimes it's good to narrow down. What area? Disobedience in what? Ministry tasks, at home, dealing with your spouse, dealing with your children, in school, how you steward your finances. That could be a lot. Let's hit the target. Let's be tangible. Let's have smart goals, sizable, measurable, realistic. You want to be able to actually look at it and say, I want to have obedience in this area, but what area? First, that meant you recognize the disobedience. What did the disobedience look like? And then what lane were you maybe expanding into that you didn't need to? Okay? Number 3, for the sake of time, build a rule of life so the assignment doesn't eat you alive. Remember, we used the posture of parables, James and the giant peach? That peach got so big, it was just rolling over. It was just tumbling. He was trying to eat his way out of it. He was trying to do everything. It was just taking up everything. Here's the thing. This is the called to chosen community. And chosen people don't need more passion. They need structure. We need structure, not more passion. And a lot of times that structure just needs simplicity, not religion. Not religion. So let's give you 3 things for that. 1, a listening rhythm. 2, a grounding rhythm. 3, boundary rhythm. Okay, I'm going to give it to you again. Ready? You need a listening rhythm. A grounding rhythm is number 2. And a boundary rhythm. And for those of you that are on WhatsApp, we're not in WhatsApp, we're on YouTube Live, so you can chat in the text. Unfortunately, we missed the mark to join there on time, so we are not on WhatsApp. If you're in here, please respond in the chat, or you do not have credit for joining the accountability circle today. Discipline. That's the point of the accountability circle. You don't get to just show up and watch, answer, participate. That's the point of the accountability circle. So, in order to have credit for joining today's accountability circle, you need to have answered 1, your season sentence, your 1 sentence season statement. That's number 1. This is a season of blank, not of blank. My example was, this is the season of discipline, not perfection. Then the second one was separate your calling from capacity to prevent burnout. Identify the lane you can stay in and one lane you're not allowed to expand in. My example was, I can stay in the lane of deliverance, but not allowed to expand into weekly one-on-ones to protect the capacity. So if you haven't posted those 2 things, 1 and 2, please catch up. Number 3, we're working on action items so that the fruit doesn't eat you alive. Establishing a listening rhythm, a grounding rhythm, and a boundary rhythm. What does a listening rhythm look like? Daily or weekly. So that means there's no output aligned with that season. It's just alignment. You're not doing something, but you're aligning your schedule daily or weekly to align with what that looks like. If I know that I have a call to deliverance, but I am having a listening rhythm, then I am going to be guided by the Holy Spirit about what it is that I'm supposed to be doing and when. He knows my heart. He knows what's coming. He knows what I'm prepared for and what I'm not. So if I know that we've indicated I'm not going into daily or weekly one-on-ones, but I can commit that I must show up and align myself for a listening rhythm of what he's giving to me to pour out, That means when I hear something from that, doesn't mean I just go jump and go make a Facebook post. That may not be what that's for, but I'm in listening mode. The grounding rhythm is something that keeps you human, rest, movement, and joy. What is it that I'm doing that as I'm listening? Hello, Salami. Greetings to the Malawi campus. Thanks for joining. What is it that I'm doing to keep me grounded? Are we so caught up in ministry, but you're not spending time with your spouse or your children? Right? Are you so caught up in being a disciplinarian that your heart is so hardened? And this is a way you can tell that when they've gotten on your nerves so bad, or you've had to take away so much because of disobedience, or you noticing rebellion or whatever, that you don't even want to do something nice with them. They may not deserve it, but you can tell where your heart posture is when you have to give something to somebody that they don't deserve. How about that's how we are with God towards us? When he gives us grace and mercy and showers blessing, when it says he stores up the wealth of the wicked for the righteous. But our character is not indicative of righteous. There was a conversation this week before last about why Sodom fell. Because he couldn't find a righteous man. One. That's why it fell. Okay? Grounding rhythm. Number 3, a boundary rhythm. What you will not give access to. Oh my God. I need everybody to type in the chat. What will you not give access to? Everybody that's on here, light up the chat. I will not give access to blank. Put it in there. Come on. Write the vision, make it plain. Make yourself accountable. I will not give access to. I will not give access to negative thoughts about my worthiness to serve. And I'm not even talking about other people. I'm talking about me. My own stinking thinking about myself. Come on, y'all. Nelly, I will not give access to distractions that separate me from God. Okay? Pastor Maxwell, Salame. Who else is at the campus there with you, Nelly? Type in the chat for them, whoever's on that campus, and just put their name so we can get them in here. This is accountability circle, y'all. We only got about 15, 20 minutes left because I want to give you time to ask questions. Finale, I will not give access to bitterness. That's a good one. I will not give access to bitterness, okay? I will not ensure. I don't think I'm understanding you, Senior Pastor. Did you mean ensure? You will not, what was self-care? I will not maybe abandon self-care. While we wait, I will not give access, fear and doubt. Pastor Shadrach, I will not give access to fear and doubt. Good. Okay, Salami, that you're going to build relationships, to build good relationships with others. Okay, thank you. That's good. You see how much tangible stuff that we're getting? This is not a sermon. This is you guys. This is accountability circle. And you put it in the live in the chat. So the chat is going to be accountability because we all seen it. All right, I will not give access to others' opinions. Got it, senior pastor. All right. That's good. Anybody else? You can still keep posting. Well, I'll see it. Let's go to number 4. Normalize the tension. Don't interpret it as failure. That's number 4. The tension you feel is not rebellion, it's overlap. Let me give you a formula. Old responsibilities plus new authority equals friction. Old responsibilities plus new authority. Oh, it's messed up. Let me redo it. Equals friction. I want to make sure you get that right. There we go. Old responsibilities plus new authority equals friction. Now, how you like those apples? So what does that look like? You might want to just stop asking for the tension to leave. Instead, ask for wisdom to carry it well. I had a thought this week, and I had to catch myself in the middle of it. I was struggling with, like, we have multiple, like, different businesses, and we understand in the world, like, when it's just one thing you're dealing with, right? You're dealing with your phone and your personal device and your iPad or your phone number. But then when you have a business or the church, nonprofit, whatever, you got to have a separate line. Those worlds don't need to be mixing. So now you have to steward your personal device, passwords, access, voicemail, being present, answering it, right? But then you have the business. How many people have dealt business with somebody and you either are calling them, and because they're not disciplined enough to steward the authority of being a business owner, they have their business calls going to their personal phone. So you call them during business hours because you have to have a business situation that needs resolved. But they're answering unprofessional. They don't even prepare themselves or their voice or their consonants to deal with you as a client because they have no indicator to let you know that they're speaking to you or answering the phone for a client. Their atmosphere, their background may not be prepared. None of that. And that kind of throws you off. But then they may do all of that. But then on the back end, what if they do separate and they have a separate call or a line for business? But they don't have the discipline to follow up with that line. That, yes, this doesn't come to my personal line and I don't have the convenience, or it's a good thing that people are not just calling me all throughout the day and I'm in the middle of walking the dog or taking my children to the vet, or the dog children, or the kids to the dentist, or talking to my husband, or checking out at Target. But they text me or they call me, and now I'm in a posture and a position to deal with that client professionally, right? But if I'm not disciplined to go into that box to check those messages, and be in the posture of professionalism, to meet that client's need. And I noticed a thought at one point this week where I said, I had a device that we specifically have for the school. And I'm diligent about not utilizing that device unless it's for school purposes. And it may not be as high frequency as, say, one of my other businesses that I'm constantly checking. But I noticed at one point where I spoke over myself and I said, I can't tangibly deal with anything bigger than this because I didn't even do a good job to follow up with making sure I got back to these people to correct a billing issue on this device. And because I felt like I missed it, and they weren't supposed to, I called them, they were supposed to get back to me. We had a whole conversation. I somehow forgot to call them back once they didn't get back to me. And I had been paying these people every month to make sure I'm a good steward of finances, of my account as a client, right? And this particular month, just like with the calendar in the beginning, I put a block. I'm not going to do this past this. And I said, I'm not going to pay them this time in advance until they call me and take care of this situation. I'm not going to pay it up front because I don't want to be at a loss. And what happened? I got busy with other things. Of course, they didn't call me back. And because I didn't just pour into them, what they do? They shut that line off. And we're right in the middle of taking care of other business. We were doing conference and other stuff. I'm like, what's happening? And now I'm upset. Because then I got to pay extra to reactivate these lines when I did what I was supposed to do and they didn't show back. What am I saying in this posture of parables? Many times in normalizing the tension, I was saying in my language, I was prophesying over myself that I can't handle more. When really this was a situation where I had to recognize old responsibilities plus new authority equals friction. I'm used to having a device. I'm used to having a phone, but as an authority, not just as a cell phone holder, but a owner over a company, a steward over a business. Other people are under me and communications going in and out are responsible for that. And I must be a good steward over those finances. But somewhere in number 3, listening rhythm, grounding rhythm, boundary rhythm, somewhere that was misaligned. And that was able to impact my language to negatively speak over the lane I'm supposed to be in. And so it worked in the contrast. So in this instance, stop asking for the tension to leave. Ask for the wisdom to carry it well. So you know what I did? It doesn't feel well, but I have the authority. So if they didn't handle it, then now we contact them. We put documentation things in place, and now we're going to reach out authority-wise. We're going to reach out to the bank. We have our documentations. We're not going to be in an influx the next week because now we have to do personal things or business, and now they're overlapping. And then we're going to either make adjustments to move forward with another company, but we're not doing it out of emotion. But we're also not going to just keep pouring into a company that's not being a good steward over us as a client or with the resources that we're pouring into them, but then they're willing to cut us off and leave us without connection to service our own clients because of what they're doing. You see the difference? Please don't miss me because this is the action items. These are the little things that the enemy will come into to cause distraction, to cause that peach to feel bigger, and you're trying to eat your way out of it instead of rallying that thing in and asking for wisdom to carry it well. We have prayed and fasted and asked for increase. But then we forgot to ask the Lord and sit before him to have the wisdom that in these daily applications of stewardship and evidence of the wisdom of what to do with the knowledge, of what to do with the increase that he's given us, we're now cursing our own selves and saying that we can't do it. So I want you to put this in the chat in all caps. God, teach me how to hold both without losing myself. What is the both? You're asking them to teach you how to hold authority, old responsibilities, and new authority without losing yourself. Come on. I'm putting it too because I'm accountable. Lord, help me to hold all responsibility and new authority without losing myself. No worries, I just typed it. It's too many assignments getting aborted because people try to escape tension instead of learning how to mature inside of it. Do not revile those who revile me. Okay, awesome. That's great. Number 5, accountability circles, use them correctly. This is not a place to just blah, blah, blah at your mouth and dump. Get control of our mouths. In this season, we will get control of our mouths. This is not the place for performance or prophecy flexing. This is not the place for you to come prove what you know. Not even for me. I'm just a vessel. We are all here being pruned. We're all here being molded. This is a space for truth telling and correcting of the course that we're on. We are all accountable for this lesson. That's why I'm putting my answers here too, because I'm accountable too. We will get control of our mouth. I noticed last week or the week, about a month ago, like anxiety was trying to come. I mean, like panic attacks. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. What is this? Something's off. No. That means we need to expose some truth somewhere. So how do we make sure accountability circles are used correctly? Each person answer only one question regularly. Here's the question. Where am I tempted to shrink, rush, or quit this week? Where am I tempted to shrink, rush, or quit this week? We're not asking you to fix it. We're not asking you to spiritually bypass it. We're not asking you to shana it away. Just clarity. This also keeps you from silently aborting your assignment. Me sitting here at this library on this live this week on this page that I have felt shame because I said, you see, you got all this stuff written. You downloaded all of these pages and downloads and prophetic dreams and what God is giving you to release. And you've put nothing on the Facebook page because you can't figure out how to use the thing. You know what? And I said, you know what? When I heard it last night, I said, devil, you're a liar. I don't care. This is a season of discipline, not perfection. I will sit in that library. I will show up. I will be present for those that the Lord comes to bring to this teaching and present. And then I will go live regardless of who is or who is not there. And I will be obedient in this season to put the information out there, and the Lord will give the increase. It's my job to sow. I don't have to water. Some plant, some water, he gives the increase. I want you to think about it all this week, but if you can answer that, put it in the chat. Even if you just type in the chat to make yourself accountable, to ask yourself, where am I tempted to shrink, rush, or quit this week? Think about this week alone. Answer that. What exhaustion is causing you to quit? Shrink. Shrink means you know that you're called to here, but you keep trying to go down here. You keep trying to hide. You know, when I talked about earlier, I know that I have the assignment for deliverance. I know that he's downloading a territory to me. But if I'm not careful and the enemy tries to make me anxious, I can launch into that too quickly. Because I need help and I feel anxious. I let people come onto the team that I know they may be talented, but they're not ready. And then when havoc breaks loose later, who's to blame? What have you started working on and you quit on it because mindset or evidence of number one, number two, or number three? Either because you haven't defined the lane that you're called to stay in, or you haven't defined the lane that you're not supposed to expand in yet. Okay, Eden, call it out. What's caused you? Call it. Name that thing. What causing you to shrink? If you're on here, if you're on the live, share the live. Share it on your Facebook. Share it on your Instagram. Share the link on YouTube, TikTok. Let other people come on and get the information. They can go back and look at it later. This is accountability circle. Okay, number 6. Make peace with the pace. Make PEACE with the PACE. Make peace with the pace. God is not impressed with your speed. It says the race is not given to the swift, but the one who what? Endures to the end. God is after sustainability. So here's the action item, number 6. Ask yourself weekly, what pace allows me to still recognize God's voice? What pace lets me love my people well? I have something I tell my husband sometimes. I can get this done, but I don't know if I'm going to like myself after I get it done, if I do it like this. We're preparing for some travel that's coming up. And I've had things that I needed to get done to prepare for other areas. I wanted the house to be a certain way when we come back. I don't want to have to deal with this and this and this. But guess what? It really required some nights with giving everything else on my plate, ministry, the children, uh, duties as a spouse, a mom, a student, a doctoral student at that, a mentor, a friend, all of these things. For me to show up in those areas, it required that I had to go into rest, even though I didn't finish some things that I wanted to complete. I could be in perfection and get it done. But now I'm not the great posture of mom or wife or business owner or prophetess, friend the next day or two. I'm so self-absorbed with myself, and now I'm nursing wounds of, you know, in my physical body, mental exhaustion, whatever. because I was operating in a pace that didn't help me love my people well. Here's the key. If the pace kills intimacy, it's not obedience, even if the fruit is real. Let me say that again. If the pace kills intimacy, it's not obedience, even if the fruit is real. Good, Nelly. I'm making peace with the pace of my growth. I do not need to rush, panic, or shrink because of pressure. Good. So let's anchor. Let's anchor our accountability circle to this. You're not confused because you miss God. In this season, we need to be adjusting because we heard him. What are we doing with what we heard? My mentor says she hates it when one of us tells us, God said that. He told me that. And she said, well, what did you do with it? What did you do with it? So he's now having me to come say this to you. And now you're telling me he told you that and you did nothing with it? We got to know the difference between protective pauses and pauses of rebellion or stagnation. Sometimes the pause you're afraid of, it's often protection, right? Not delay. But it's not a matter of unbelief of which one it is. It's a matter of stewardship. And if you always anchor yourself back to intimacy, the intimacy will reveal, like we talked about Sunday, be ready when he speaks. Our life is not competition with the call on our life. We don't have to compete with the call on our life. We just got to train. It's the training ground. It's not heaven. So this is why places like this, the accountability circle matters. We're not here to hype our calls up. Nobody cares how many prophecies a prophetess got right this week. That doesn't matter. I'm here for accountability too. Right? Right? This is about keeping us whole while we walking it out. None of us are altogether lovely here. We're not. We die daily. We die daily. All right, let's do a recap. This is what you need to have in your called to chosen notebook for this accountability circle. Number one, your one sentence season statement. Fill in the blank. This is a season of blank, not of blank. Number two, separate calling from capacity. You need to have your two lanes. One lane you're allowed to stay in right now. Lane two, you're not allowed to expand into yet. Number three, build a rule of life so the assignment doesn't eat you alive. Paying attention to your rhythms, a listening rhythm, a grounding rhythm, a boundary rhythm. So a listening rhythm is a daily or weekly, no output, just alignment. What is the Lord saying to you? Number two, the grounding rhythm, Keeping note of something that keeps you human, brings you rest, stills your movement, brings you joy. That's the grounding rhythm. Number 3, boundary rhythm, noting what you will not give access to. Now, key number 4, normalize the tension. Don't interpret it as failure. You're supposed to stop asking for tension to leave and ask for wisdom to carry it well. I want you to specifically put areas that you're noticing tension and intentionally ask the Lord to give you evidence of you carrying it well. Remember our equation: old responsibilities plus new authority equals friction. It happens. Number 5, accountability circles. Use them correctly. Ask yourself, where am I tempted to shrink, rush, or quit? Number 6, make peace with the pace. You're not in competition with your call. Life is the training ground, not heaven. If the pace kills intimacy, it's not obedience, even if the fruit is real. That giant peach was real in James and the Giant Peach, but it got out of control. Imagine if he had the hands of the stewardship to create a containment for it, or even hands to slice it and plate it out. How many people would have been able to eat from that peach instead of it wreaking havoc and just smashing people, right? Listen, you guys, you did a lot of great work today. You did. I'm so proud of you. This accountability circle was awesome. You guys did a lot of great work. I look forward to your journals. I look forward to our next one. We are set for our next accountability circle will be on the 27th of May. Same time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard. I'm sorry, I'm saying that wrong. 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It'll be the same exact times as on the flight. Let's put it that way, so I don't mess it up. Same time, but it'll be on May 27th. We'll also have the live meetup. Here. So if you want to be in person, you can do so. The address is 21802 South Ellsworth Road. That is at the Queen Creek Library right there in Santan Valley, but Queen Creek Library, 12 to 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 to 11 p.m. South African Standard Time, and that's the same time for Gambia and Malawi. Called to Chosen Live Meetup Accountability Circle. I have a few minutes for questions. We're on time. Yay. If you have a certain thing God says or think he said, and then hear someone on earth near you talking about that subject, is it a confirmation? It can be. I know a lot of times I'm working on something. I'll give an example. God had been dealing with me or putting in my heart about language and the fact that I know that I'm called to nations. And I had been feeling down or that negative thinking, right? Because I'm like, I need to be able to communicate, especially in deliverance. I need to be able to talk to these people. And I can't always in that moment and trying to convey prophecy, because you can change one word and it changes the whole meaning. And so I recognize that as a lane. When we talked about a lane, to be in versus a lane you can expand into, that might mean some tangible things that as he's downloading to me, we talked about the rhythm, the listening rhythm, right? One of those things is I have to start searching tools to cultivate myself into those languages. I might be in a season 3, 4 years, or supernaturally, he may do it in 1 year. He will partner with me because it's what he wants me to do to be able to supernaturally pick up on these languages, to equip me so that when he sends me into that season, that lane, now I can expand there. And then all of a sudden, I start hearing other people talking about language in regards to ministry. Real life example, actually, Eden, you had no idea that I was dealing with that. But we were working with a client and you were looking at Superbook or something, but specifically that episode you put on while you were next to me and you had the earphones on. But when you took it out, it was talking about the day of Pentecost and and they were doing their whole skit with the little characters about understanding and downloading and what they were saying and how they were understanding in their own language. That was a confirmation for me. That's something God was saying to me. He was using my surroundings to amplify that direction. That's the listening rhythm. Any other questions? Um, I delight myself in the law of the Lord to keep pace. Amen, senior pastor. Keep pace. Okay. All right. Well, that is our time. It's 1:42. It doesn't look like we have any questions. I don't want to extend the live. If we're here, for those that are live, um, update, our live meetup. This is our time for us to connect and answer questions, maybe have a little bit of refreshments or what have you here in person. If you have questions, you can always prepare them. I will always have time at the end to answer those questions. Again, you can come back. Please, I encourage you, look at the live again. Take notes because there was a lot that we covered, right? It was a lot that we covered, and you can always come to our Call to Chosen group. We also have our Kingdom Builders group on Facebook that you can join into and post there. And we are listening and paying attention. Okay, no worries. Thank you so much for joining. Listen, guys, today is fruit that's not rolling over us. We have nations, South Africa, we have Malawi, we have the US, East Coast and West Coast. All of us joined here. And guess what? I did not outrun my pace. I stayed in alignment with my lane and I did not expand into an area I was not supposed to. Look at God. And look how much greatness came from just being disciplined, not in a state of perfection. Let me just pray with all of you that are here. Lord, I just thank you for everybody that has joined our live accountability circle meetup. These nations that are represented from around your world. I am just so in joy in my heart that you have shown up and that you have given us these tangible ways for us to be able to walk things out. As we have, like our sister Eden asking, how do they pull into alignment with you? Those that are wanting to stay pace, those that want to understand that tension does not mean that the new authority that they've been given cancel out their old responsibilities, that they can ask for wisdom. How we emotionally remain healthy while we're carrying these new responsibilities without shrinking back into feeling overwhelmed. God, I'm asking that your Holy Spirit goes out and that you endow your people, that you hear them, that it says that you are near us, that you are concerned about everything that we are concerned about, and that we are positioning ourselves to be before you, to hear you tangibly, and to hearken the wisdom from your voice. We thank you that you are answering your people even now. We thank you that you are giving us the ability to steward well the resources that you are giving us. Define the lanes of which we should be walking in and those areas that we should not be expanding. And give us the tangible wisdom and the knowledge to be able to know what to do with what it is that you have downloaded and shared with us in intimate times. We thank you and we bless you and we magnify you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. God bless you, everybody.